Hello everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to kick off today's session with Lesson 1, Master Your Speaking Test. Today, we'll explore how speaking is assessed in the IELTS exam. We'll go over the key criteria that examiners look for and share tips on how to excel. So, let's get started and make sure you're fully prepared to succeed. All right, on this slide, we're going to explore what you will learn from this section. First, we'll look into understanding band descriptors, which are crucial for grasping how examiners evaluate your work. Then, we'll discuss the importance of thinking like an examiner. This is about understanding their perspective to improve your responses. Next, we'll address common myths and misunderstandings that can sometimes hold students back, so you can avoid those pitfalls. Overall, this slide sets the foundation for everything we're going to cover, helping you see the bigger picture and how these concepts connect to your exam success. So, let's dive in and see how understanding these key points can really make a difference in your preparation. The test is tailored to your level for fairness. What this means is that each person gets questions that are appropriate for their individual skills. This way, we're making sure that everyone has a fair chance to show what they know, without feeling overwhelmed or under-challenged. Now, a common misconception is that the examiner asks everyone the same questions. But in reality, the process is much more personalized. Instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, the questions adapt to your ability level. This is an important point because it highlights how our testing system is designed to be fair and accurate. It's all about giving everyone an equal opportunity to succeed, which is a core part of ensuring a truly fair assessment process. All right, let's talk about something that can really trip people up: relying on mock videos for real test standards. Now, I know these videos can seem helpful, but the truth is, they can be quite misleading. They often don't accurately reflect the actual test environment or the real expectations you'll face. This is what I like to call the YouTube trap. It's easy to fall into the mindset that if you watch enough of these mock videos, you'll be perfectly prepared. But the problem is, these videos are usually edited or staged, and they don't capture the full complexity or pressure of a real test situation. So the key takeaway here is, don't depend solely on these mock videos. Instead, focus on genuine practice, understanding the core standards, and simulating real test conditions as closely as possible. Remember, the goal is to prepare yourself for what you'll actually encounter, not just what looks good on a screen. A gold medalist isn't always running at world record speed, and that's an important point to remember. It doesn't mean they're not talented or capable. Sometimes it just means they performed at their best during that moment. Similarly, a high score on a test or in a skill isn't a permanent stamp of who you are every single day. It's more of a reflection of what you're capable of achieving in that particular environment or moment. This is not a statement of your permanent state, but rather an indication of your potential. Think of it like the Usain Bolt analogy. Just because someone runs a really fast race once doesn't mean they're always at that speed. It shows what's possible under certain conditions, but it doesn't define them completely. So remember, a high score or a medal is about capability, not necessarily a permanent state. It's a moment that highlights what you can do when the conditions are right or when you put in your best effort. And that's a powerful reminder that our true measure is often about potential and growth, not just a single achievement. All right, let's take a closer look at slide 6. Here, we're focusing on maintaining the standard. This is about ensuring that your performance stays consistent throughout the exam. It's not just about hitting a high score once, but about sustaining that quality. Next, we have deciding the band score. This involves understanding what score you need to achieve your goals and making strategic choices on how to approach each task to reach that target. Then, controlling interaction is crucial. This means managing your engagement with the examiner and the task, making sure your responses are relevant and clear, and maintaining a confident tone. Managing the time is also essential. You want to allocate your time wisely across different parts of the exam so you can complete everything without rushing or running out of time. And all of these points tie back to the core idea of thinking like an examiner. If you understand what they're looking for, you can better tailor your responses to meet those expectations and achieve your desired band score. So the key takeaway here is that maintaining your standard involves a combination of consistency, strategic decision-making, interaction management, and time control. Mastering these will really help you perform at your best throughout the exam. All right, let's talk about a key tip for your presentations. Don't rely on mini-lecture templates. These formulaic templates often lead to unnatural speeches because they make us stick to a rigid structure that doesn't feel genuine. When we follow these patterns, our answers can sound learned or rehearsed, which can disconnect us from our audience. Instead, I encourage you to aim for authentic conversations. For example, rather than giving direct answers that sound rehearsed, try to engage with follow-up questions. This approach makes your communication feel more natural and spontaneous, helping your audience connect with you on a deeper level. When you focus on being authentic, your speech flows more freely, and your ideas resonate better. Remember, the goal is to move away from the mock, rehearsed style and embrace genuine interaction. That's what truly makes a presentation impactful and memorable. Let's take a closer look at how your scores are decided. First, remember that the examiner actually wants to give you the highest score possible. That means they're looking for clear evidence throughout the test to support your answers. So, as you go through each part, keep in mind that showing consistent evidence is key. Next, setting a benchmark happens early in the test. This is where you establish a strong foundation for your responses. By doing this early, you help guide the examiner's expectations and make it easier for them to see your strengths right from the start. Overall, understanding how scores are decided emphasizes the importance of providing evidence throughout the entire test and establishing a solid benchmark early on. Keep these points in mind as we continue, because they're essential for maximizing your scores. Don't waste opportunities by sticking to prepared answers. When we rely on pre-made responses, it's like hitting a sign: no points, no progress. Remember, every response we give is a chance to make an impact and score high. So instead of defaulting to memorized lines, we should aim to be present and adaptable. That's how we truly connect and stand out. And when you do respond well, don't forget to hit the bell. It's a symbol of that moment of strength. This is what I call the strength machine, building your confidence, agility, and skill with each interaction. Keep this in mind as we continue. Every conversation is an opportunity to strengthen your abilities and make a real impression. Today, I want to talk about the 4 key criteria that are essential for evaluating language performance. First, we have pronunciation, which is all about how clearly and accurately you can produce sounds and words. Good pronunciation helps ensure your message is understood without confusion. Next is grammatical range and accuracy. This means using a variety of grammatical structures correctly, showing not just knowledge but control over the language. It's about being versatile and precise. The third criterion is lexical resource, or your vocabulary. Having a wide range of words and expressions allows you to express ideas more precisely and vividly. And finally, fluency and coherence. This is about how smoothly and logically your speech flows, making it easy for your listener to follow your train of thought. When you combine all 4 criteria, pronunciation, grammatical range and accuracy, lexical resource, and fluency and coherence, you get a comprehensive picture of language proficiency. These are the standards we aim for to communicate effectively and confidently in any context. The ultimate goal in any presentation is to be easily understood. That means making sure your ideas are relevant and flow logically from one to the next. Effective linking of your ideas helps your audience follow along effortlessly. Coherence is all about keeping your message consistent and connected throughout your talk. And then there's fluency, being able to speak smoothly without hesitations or awkward pauses. Together, fluency and coherence form the foundation for clear communication. Remember, if your audience can follow your ideas easily and you speak confidently, your message will resonate much more effectively. So, focus on clarity, logical flow, and smooth delivery to truly connect with your listeners. All right, let's look ahead to our next lesson, mastering fluency and coherence. These are essential skills if you want to perform well in the exam. Think like an examiner. Remember, every answer really does count. So, it's important to understand what the descriptors are looking for. Being natural in your speaking is key. You don't want to sound rehearsed or stiff. Instead, aim for a smooth, genuine flow. This helps your answers come across more convincingly and confidently. To sum up, focus on these points. Think like an examiner because they're the ones listening and evaluating. Recognize that every answer you give contributes to your overall score. Understand the assessment criteria or descriptors so you know what to aim for. And most importantly, be natural. Let your personality show through rather than trying to memorize perfect responses. By doing this, you'll improve not just your language skills, but also your confidence, which is crucial for success. So, keep these ideas in mind as we move forward to mastering fluency and coherence in your speaking.